I'm Chronix from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your TLC 2013 review. As you might notice, I don't have my camera on. That's because I don't have it, because Crystal went out on a business trip and she took it with her. So I'm here all alone with this microphone trying to do this review podcast style. Now, this is the last pay-per-view of 2013, and we're coming right around the corner. 2014 January, you know what that means? It's the Royal Rumble. Probably my favorite pay-per-view of the whole year. Got so much excitement coming in, the possibility of storylines. It's just great. I can't wait. But for now, we got a little pay-per-view to talk about. And it starts off like any SmackDown game story mode that you've ever played. You got a limo pulling up, and the door opens, and the crowd is oohing and awing. It's the Authority. It's Triple H. It's Stephanie, and it's Vince McMahon. So, obviously, a lot of ideas start popping through people's head. They're thinking, this is going to be some kind of screw job in the main event. Because, I mean, Vince is here. I didn't really see it that way. I looked at it as it's like, Vince is like, hey, this is a big occasion. Even though probably most people don't think that the unification itself is a big deal. Because the titles don't mean as much as they once did. And obviously the World Heavyweight Championship does not mean anything like it did back when Chris Jericho won the first Undisputed Championship. But that's just us. But I thought it was great that Vince was there to, you know, make it seem important in some fashion. Triple H, Stephanie, and Vince McMahon head down to the ring, and they're grabbing a microphone. And you're probably thinking, man, this is just like Monday Night Raw. Why do they got to do this? But I guess Stephanie really did have some kind of an announcement. She was letting us know what this undisputed title was going to be called. I know that all the WWE Universe apparently voted on the Unified Champion, which I thought was a horrible name. But apparently, it's not going to be called that. Is it going to be called the Undisputed Champion? No, that would only make sense. No, they're not even going to call it the WWE Champion. So you're probably thinking, what? Or, like, what? No, they're going to be calling it, from now on, the World Heavyweight Championship. So yes, a very strange choice, I would think. I would think that they would just go ahead and call it the WWE Champion, but they went with World Heavyweight Champion. I guess they'll actually call it the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, which I guess is okay, and they want to, you know, build on that lineage of the name, or whatever. I'm not really sure. But this brings into question, which belt are they going to use? Are they going to be using, you know, the big WWE logo belt? Are they going to be using the old, smaller version of the WCW belt? And I still maintain that that WCW title is going away, and they're going to put it in a box somewhere. But, I mean, I was wrong about what they was going to call the belt. So, I mean, what do I know? But it only makes sense that you have a brand new belt that has a ginormous WWE logo, and we all know how much they love to plug things and things of this. I'm surprised that it doesn't have like a WWE app logo on it as much as they plug that. But I'm just saying, I would think that that would be the one that they would keep. Yeah, you probably have more recognizability, if that's even a word, with the World Heavyweight title, the old one, because I'm pretty sure that's probably the most recognizable belt in wrestling history. But yeah, I don't think they really care about all that. Anyways, that's what it's going to be called. Probably a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day. We got a match, and it's CM Punk versus the entire Shield. Yes, all three of them dudes, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. I predicted on Twitter that there would be some kind of falling out with the Shield, because they've been teasing it forever. They've been making it look like the Shield are just going to break up and they are going to be done, son. I mean, it's been a year, and it's probably about time. I know we still have warm, fuzzy feelings about the Shield and we like them, but I like the fact that they're going to kind of break them up before they get old. Because, I mean, come on, can we imagine like 2015 and like the Shield is still around? I don't know that that really makes a lot of sense, and they'd probably be old and we wouldn't care about them, so I don't know. I think it's a good time. I believe it's pretty good timing. So they've been teasing all this dissension and, you know, angst towards each other or whatever, but in this match, it was almost not really so much like that. They weren't all on the same page, but CM Punk kind of beat them all, like, pretty decisively. Like, the only difference was that Roman Reigns, he had this eye issue where his eye was bothering him, and Punk, you know, he's kicking him in the face and stuff, and his eye's bothering him more and more, and it's puffing out of his head, and it's swelling up, or at least that's what they're telling us. So he's like trying to spear CM Punk, and he goes flying over the table. He keeps running into things. It was almost comical a little bit. I was thinking in my head, oh man, you know, I could see WWE capitalizing on an idea right here. You could have Roman Reigns, and he has a bad eye, and he can't see that well, so he has to have these glasses, but he keeps falling down, so the glasses are taped up in the middle, and he'll wrestle in a match, and his glasses will fall off, and then he can't see, and then he loses because, you know, he can't keep his glasses on. But, you know, obviously I'm joking, but I was just thinking of the worst possible idea they could do with that, and they're not going to do that. I mean, we can have faith in that. I mean, right? I don't know. We know how WWE can be. But CM Punk, he basically beat 3 guys by himself, which is a pretty impressive feat. So yes, the Shield is breaking up, and I guess it's okay to beat them in that fashion if they are going to break up. But this leads me to the question of, what are they doing with CM Punk? Because if he's going to beat 3 guys at the end of 2013, they're obviously building him up for next year, right? So I'm thinking, and I might just be thinking, but it seems to me that they would be building him up to go against the WWE World Heavyweight Undisputed Champion, or whatever, at the Royal Rumble. So that's going to be what I'm thinking they're going to do. A little prediction right there. I mean, yeah, you got Triple H, you got Randy Orton, you got the whole little authority. I don't see what else Punk could be doing. So I'm going to have to go with that. But Punk wins, and he beats all of these guys. So dude's coming out of here looking super duper strong. Now we got AJ Lee, and she's taking on Natalya. Now, you know Natalya's a good wrestler, and you got to know that AJ is one too. These are 2 women that are just, like, really good in the ring. Like, no doubt about it. And they went out there, and they had a fantastic match. I was marking out during this match. It was just greatness. Now, Tamina was on the side of AJ, and before the match, you know, she's doing a little promo saying, you think I'm crazy and nobody has my number? And, you know, she should have been Diva of the Year because she's been champion for like 100 and something days or whatever. And, yes, I agree. You should be Diva of the Year. I mean, obviously, but you know how it goes. But, it's kind of funny because AJ's got this crazy girl attitude personality, right? On the screen. I was assuming that backstage she wasn't so much like that, but there was a story that just came out where backstage CM Punk was talking with some reporter that was apparently his friend, and there was some assistants there that were also ladies. She was being loud, you know, this assistant or this reporter or whatever, and was using curse words and whatnot. And AJ, you know, she heard it, and she came over there and started yelling. Now, I'm assuming that she was, you know, standing up for her boyfriend CM Punk or whatever, and, you know, oh, get your lady parts away from my man and stuff like this, right? And I would think that that would bring her respect, because, you know, when a guy does that, you know, backstage, a wrestler stands up for his lady, all the guys, all the veterans, they all respect it. But I guess the difference here is that there was no imminent danger. There was no imminent threat. She was just overreacting. And anytime you overreact, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, or what situation it is, you look like a dummy. So, they say that she's got heat backstage, and she probably does. But I mean, I don't think that they're going to take the belt off of her because of something like this. I mean, come on. People make mistakes, right? But anyways, after a good match, AJ Lee wins, and I say hooray. Now, I would not have been against Natalya winning the title, but it really just didn't make a whole lot of sense. You would think if Natalya was going to win the title, she'd probably win it from the Bella Twins because of their show on the E! Network, Total Divas, right? And a little side note, you know, it blows my mind that Total Divas is on during the pay-per-view. It's just bizarre. But I guess a lot of people who have cable have the capability of watching different shows on different televisions. I wouldn't know because I haven't had cable or satellite. Well, actually, I've never had cable or satellite. But the last time I had it in a house I was living in, I was like 18. So it's been a while. It was a roll-up, but it was still a good match. Now we have Big E Langston, the Intercontinental Champion, going against Damien Sandow. And I've been pulling for Big E ever since I seen him on NXT. You know, big dude, he's fast, and he's pretty good on the microphone. And they have a very good match. And I was surprised, like the crowd was really into Big E, so I just felt proud for him. Now, Damien Sandow, I don't know. He came out there to this Houston crowd and started saying, you know, y'all ain't a word and stuff. And I was like, man, I'm from Texas and you can't say those things. But, you know, I just feel like Sandow is just falling down, not as important as he used to be. And it kind of seems like he's going to be there for a while. I don't know. But I can at least be happy because Big E comes away with the victory. And the crowd, they popped huge when he won. And I was just like, yeah! Backstage, we see Vince McMahon shaking hands with Randy Orton. And then later we saw Vince McMahon shaking hands with John Cena. So it doesn't look like John Cena or Randy Orton or Vince McMahon or whatever. Vince McMahon is not on the side of either one of these men. I did notice that there was kind of a sound issue, it sounded like, from where I was listening. So it kind of made me think, since both of these segments aired at different times, having the same sound problem, made me think that they filmed this at the same time and then aired them later. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, why wouldn't they do that? It's Vince McMahon. You don't want to waste this man's time. We learn that the main event is a no disqualification match. You gotta be kidding me. It's a TLC match. I mean, there's tables, there's ladders, and there's chairs. Not only are they there, they're encouraged to be used. Each one of these items are all means for a disqualification. We all know that TLC matches are no disqualification. So why in God's name did they even say that? I guess besides the fact to make us think that there's going to be some outside interference, or, you know, Vince McMahon coming down with the chair and somebody turning heel or something. But I can't believe that anybody thought that. But we'll get closer to that, and we'll talk about the main event when we get there. Now we have this elimination tag match. It's the Real Americans versus Big Show and Ray. Didn't know they were a tag team. Versus Rybackstel, or whatever they're called. And the champions, Cody Rhodes and Goldust. And Ryback and Curtis Axel, you know, the jobbers. You know, Ryback, he used to beat one or two jobbers at a time. And he just used to decimate them. But now he just tags with them. And I think that they were the first ones eliminated. And then Big Show and Ray, they got eliminated. Then it was down, I think, to Cody Rhodes and Goldust and the Real Americans. A lot of people were thinking that the Real Americans were going to come away the victors. And I really, honestly, would not have had a problem with that, because Antonio Cesaro is the freaking man. He is just awesome. Jack Swagger in this tag team, it works. By himself, I hate to say it, but he sucks, man. He's a good wrestler, but he's so boring, and he's got no personality. And he doesn't even know how to unhook a briefcase, for God's sakes. They had to edit the match on the WrestleMania DVD because he took like 30 seconds. I mean, you just can't push somebody who can't unhook something that's a common everyday object. I'm just saying, man. But anyways, Cody Rhodes and Goldust, they actually come away the victors. Now, this was a good match. It was exciting. The pay-per-view so far has been just thumbs up for me. And I was actually a little bit surprised. Now we got Brodus Clay versus R-Truth. Xavier Woods comes out. He's on the side of R-Truth. And I think Sweet Tea was with Brodus. Not really sure. Have not been paying attention to Brodus. He's been saying that he's a main event player and stuff. So it looks like he's going to break out and be his own guy. Which, once again, is probably about time. Because I don't think there's one person in the universe besides little kids who think that Brodus is just awesome in the Funkadactyls. And whoa, that's just so cool. I just don't think anybody is saying that on this planet. You know, that's not a kid or something, right? So, looks like they're going to break him out and do his own thing. Do I think it's going to work? Probably not, but, you know, you got to try. You just gotta try. R-Truth comes away with the victory, and Brodus is all mad. So, it looks like he's got a long way to go to get to the top if he's getting beat by R-Truth in the freaking pay-per-view, you know what I mean? Like, he's got a long way to go to be a main event player. Okay, so The Miz takes on Kofi Kingston. I kept asking myself, why don't I care about this match? And I think it's because I've seen this match like 500 times on Raw. And I don't care how much of an edge they try to give to Kofi Kingston or how much of a mean streak they try to give to The Miz. I just don't care. I'm ready for this to be over. Please, God Almighty, I would love The Miz to be doing something better. I would love Kofi Kingston to be doing something better. But the bottom line is, I want them to just be doing something different. That would be nice. That would be great. Now, the Wyatt family got to take on Daniel Bryan. Now, I'm telling you, I'm putting my prediction in 100% for Daniel Bryan winning the Royal Rumble. I think it's going to happen. I think that he's going to have to take on somebody at WrestleMania that's in the authority to end all this. That's what I'm hoping for. That's the dream at the granddaddy of them all. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to freaking be at WrestleMania. So I can dream as big as I want. So take that. But anyways, he's taking on the Wyatts, all three of them. And unlike CM Punk, he did not win, which just broke my little heart. Now the Wyatts, they actually looked pretty good in this match, I thought. You had Bray Wyatt doing this backward crab walk, which was ultra creepy. But Bryan just couldn't survive the onslaught, which was a very sad day. But I think that he's gonna come back. I've got to have hope. Now we got the main event. It's Randy Orton, the WWE Champion, versus John Cena, the World Heavyweight Champion. Okay, so the titles are going to become unified. Does that mean that there's only going to be one belt? I think so, because I remember them saying that you're not going to see both of the belts in the ring at the same time ever again. So that means one of the belts is going. I'm assuming they're keeping the WWE Championship, but they're going to call it the World Heavyweight Championship. It sounds confusing because they've had unification before, and it's the whole history of the belts is going to be very confusing in the future, I think. So, what I'm going to try to do is try to, off of the top of my head, try to remember how the different titles came about, and how the unification happened, and the de-unification happened, and then the reunification happened. Okay, I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to try. You started out with the WWE Championship, the big round Attitude Era belt that The Rock and Triple H had. And then you had WCW, they were their own company. They had the big round WCW, not round, but you know, that shape, the big gold, solid gold thing that Goldberg had, Ric Flair had, you know, all these people had, right? WCW goes out of business. They bring the belt into WWE. It's still called the WCW title. And you have people like The Rock. Are you freaking kidding me? Winning the belt, right? And you still have the Attitude Era WWE Championship. But they decided to have a unification match. The Rock was the WCW champion. and I believe Stone Cold was the WWE champion. But Chris Jericho on one night won both of the belts and became the first ever undisputed champion. So he had both the WCW and the WWE belt, but they called it the undisputed champion, right? And then, what happened? Then they made their own belt. So they got rid of both of these belts. Both of these belts are completely gone, right? And you have the Undisputed Championship. They introduced a brand new belt that people like Brock Lesnar wore, people like Eddie Guerrero wore, right? The Undertaker. They had the one belt. They had 2 separate shows. A brand split happened, but the Undisputed Champion fought on both shows, right? Then at some random point, the Undisputed Championship went to SmackDown and stayed on SmackDown, and Triple H was awarded the World Heavyweight Championship, was the old WCW belt, so it's on Raw. But then, God, my brain starts to hurt trying to think about what happens next, because somehow the World Heavyweight Championship goes to SmackDown, the Undisputed Championship starts becoming called the WWE Championship, and it comes back to Raw. John Cena wins it, creates the spinner belt, and then you got the Edge belt. But then the other belt is on SmackDown, and it starts becoming, or it is the World Heavyweight Championship. But anyways, it's basically like that until now, when they decide to reunify them. So the World Heavyweight Championship is what it will be called, but I'm assuming it's going to have the WWE Championship name. I'm already confused, even though I just explained what happened. Anyways, a lot of people were thinking that there was going to be some kind of interference or whatever. I didn't really see that. I know a lot of people got upset at the outcome of some of the other pay-per-views and the screw jobs, and they kind of made it clear that there's going to be a champion, there's going to be one winner, and it's going to pretty much happen cleanly. So I blindly accepted that and thought that's what was going to happen. So they go out there and they start wrestling. And I kept thinking that John Cena was going to win, but then I was like, it only makes sense for Orton to win. Because Orton is the heel, he's in this group. There's no way John Cena's joining the Authority. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. No matter what, John Cena's not going to join them and turn heel. John Cena's never turning heel. I'm sorry, guys. It's just never, ever, ever going to happen. But anyways, I thought that Orton had to win. He's in there, and I'm thinking, Daniel Bryan winning the Rumble, it just makes sense, right? But that's just me. But anyways, they have the match. It's a very good match. I very much liked it. There was a lot of impact that I didn't really think was going to happen, like guys flying through tables and stuff. I just didn't imagine these older guys, to be honest, at this point, having a very brutal match. And obviously it wasn't like TLC 1, 2, or 3 or nothing like that. But still, for these guys, John Cena and all them, pretty brutal for these guys. Randy Orton, he ends up pulling up like the floor mats. I'm thinking, man, he's going to backdrop John Cena on concrete? No freaking way. Well, they didn't do that. But what he did pull out was a pair of handcuffs. And I thought, uh-oh. Oh, he's going to tie him to the ropes. And that's what he did. He handcuffs John Cena to the ropes. And this time he has a key. And he takes the key, it's on a string, and he throws it into the crowd. And I was like, oh! Because that guy who grabbed it, he probably threw that thing in the trash can. It would have been kind of hilarious if some girl caught it and she was like a super fan and she threw it back and John Cena unlocked himself, but that's highly unlikely, right? They probably threw it to a plant or something, I don't know. Anyways, or they would have just no-sold the fact that the ring was right, that the key was right next to him. Anyways, John Cena, he's helpless. He ain't going nowhere. He's completely screwed, right? But no, John Cena, he starts thinking, how am I going to get out of this? I was like, dude, you should grab the toolbox under the ring and start taking the rope off or start sawing the thing or something. And I was like, they wouldn't do that. So Randy Orton's going up to get the belt, but John Cena, he unscrews the little screw thingy that holds the ropes together. And it's killing me because I actually know what that little mechanism is called. It's used to tighten ropes, obviously. But I can't remember. It kills me because I would have been the only person in the universe, I swear, to tell you what that thing is, and now I can't freaking remember. But anyways, he unscrews it, and that takes the rope off. So he gets out, and he's got the rope attached to him. The rope is attached to him on the handcuff, and he takes the bottom rope off. It was pretty insane. He climbs up there. They're fighting, but at the end of the day, you got Randy Orton clocking John Cena in the head. John Cena falls down, hits his head on the side of a table. I know he didn't get hurt, but it looked pretty impressive. Randy Orton, this man is shaking. He's trembling. He's taking off that belt and, those two belts, and he wins, and he's holding it up, and I'm thinking to myself, like, looking at the reaction on Randy Orton's face, like, he truly looked like he was happy that he won. He really looked like he was like, man, this was a big moment. Like, this was a really good match. And he, like, really soaked it in. And I was even thinking, there was so much tension in that moment of him unhooking it. I thought, man, all these ideas was coming through my head, like, man, Hogan could run down to the ring or something, or somebody could return. Like, there was that much tension that I was really questioning what was going to happen next, even though John Cena is clearly incapacitated. So Randy Orton wins. He holds up the title. Vince McMahon and everybody come down to the ring, and they shake his hand, and they're all hooray, hooray. Make sure you tune into Raw and see what happens next. But, hey, Randy Orton winning, yeah, that sucks, but, I mean, I wouldn't really have honestly wanted John Cena to win for storyline purposes or whatever, so, I mean, the pay-per-view, I was thoroughly entertained. I thought it was actually pretty great, but anyways, that was the pay-per-view, and I will see you guys very soon.